Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach. I own Aspire Action Coach based here in Southwest Ohio. I think I love the story today, really, of a customer service company who happens to also do restoration services. And so we're thrilled to have BJ Drell, CEO, founder of Dry Ally, based here in the region, with us, joining us on the Spotlight. First of all, though, for our viewers, if you're new to the series, we're thrilled to have you join us. And again, we encourage you to hit subscribe so you can receive future messages like you're going to hear from BJ today. And so, without further ado, BJ Durel, Dry Ally, welcome to the spotlight. If you could take a second, tell us a little bit more about the business, how you got started, why restoration services.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me also. So restoration really kind of came just because of the industry that I was in before. I was in corporate insurance before. So I worked really closely side by side with restoration companies and restoration owners. And I got to see that part of the industry for about 13 to 15 years. So I knew at one point that I wanted to go off on my own and kind of really start my own thing. And then luckily with my background in the insurance as an insurance adjuster, I kind of already had that knowledge. And that was really kind of the catalyst to kind of get me to where I am now with Dry Ally. It was really just seeing that side of the restoration work on my end as an insurance adjuster, and then wanting to know what that looks like on the other end also. So it's not some story of whimsical or anything like that. It's just I saw the industry. I knew that I wanted to go off on my own, and that was the route that I took.
Okay. And because you went off on your own, I mean, there's some other ways to approaching business, franchises and buy existing businesses. Is there a particular reason why you said, hey, I'm starting fresh?
Honestly, I looked at franchises, and I probably researched franchises for 2, 3 years maybe. Um, but in reality, was I just couldn't afford it, and that was the truth. I couldn't afford the franchise fees. Um, I didn't want to sit and go through all the documentation, the paperwork for those franchises. And even with clearing out my 401k, I still didn't have enough money to purchase a franchise. So I just decided, luckily with the blessing of my wife, to go off on my own and kind of start from scratch.
So if you mind, take a second, kind of build upon that. Maybe who are your ideal customers? Who's listening may know, hey, they'd be great to connect with you, and no matter what type of challenge they may have. Right?
Yeah, so it's odd. So our customers are the property owners. So that's business owners, that's homeowners. But really, our I guess our sales funnels really are real estate agents, insurance agents, plumbers, people in the trades. So even though our primary customer is a homeowner or a business owner, our sales funnels really are real estate agents, insurance agents, plumbers, trades, that kind of stuff. So.
So building upon that in terms of maybe describe the typical types of services and what is it you wish more people knew about what the business does?
So our typical services are going to be water damage and mold. That's kind of our wheelhouse. We also do fire damage too. Um, Luckily there's not a whole lot of fire, house fires or business fires, but there's pipe bursts all the time. There's water leaks all the time. There are homeowners that are cleaning out their kitchen cabinets and they find mold under sinks. So the water damage and molds kind of really are big bucket items that we typically work with. We also do basement waterproofing as part of the Dry Ally solutions that we have. It's definitely a newer part of our business, but here in the Cincinnati area, Northern Kentucky, this region, waterproofing in basements is a big deal, especially with the amount of rain that we get, the cold winters that we get too. So, really, the water and the mold and the waterproofing, those are our kind of go-to services that we offer. But we also do fire as well.
So you're a couple of years in now to starting up from really from scratch with the business. So everyone's always like to say, hey, what marketing strategies really work? And I think you mentioned a little bit some referral partners previously, but what marketing seems to work best for you and why?
Well, I will say this off the get-go. I failed at marketing with Dry Ally for several months. It was a very hard lesson to learn. I really kind of thought that I have a lot of friends on Facebook. Well, friends on Facebook. I have a lot of friends in life that Dry Ally will just spread like wildfire, and everyone's going to want to come, use our services when needed. Um, I learned very quickly that that was not the case. It took about 4.5 months for my first job to come in, and it was from a friend of mine, not even from, a sales funnel.
Okay.
So with that being said, the marketing that we've really geared towards, the marketing that works for us is really going out, meeting with insurance adjusters, meeting with real estate agents. We do a lot of lunch and learns for insurance and for real estate agents, where we'll come in, we'll talk to their entire organization for 10 or 15 minutes. We'll do a quick PowerPoint presentation. We'll take questions. But that's really kind of our marketing. We use Google. I think every company really does use Google, but we do some Google marketing, but really it is going out, boots on the ground, talking to these insurance agents, talking to these real estate agents, um, going to trade shows for plumbing or other home services. We make a lot of connections there. But for the most part, our marketing really is getting in front of those agents and just talking to them and letting them know who we are, why we do what we do, and how we're different from other companies.
And how do you find those agents and build those relationships?
Luckily, with my background in insurance, I had already had quite a few established relationships already. So
Yeah.
we definitely got the help on that piece. Um, but I'd be lying if I said that we didn't just call up insurance companies, say, "Hey, we're Dry Ally, we're new on the block. We'd love to introduce ourselves to you. Can we come in and can I just sit down with you for 5 or 10 minutes?" And it really just started like that. Um, and it was honestly calling every insurance agency we could find in the entire Cincinnati market. It was calling every single real estate agency we could find in the Cincinnati market just to get our name out there, just to drive over there, introduce ourselves, and give them documentation, cards, pamphlets, whatever we had. And that was really how we got started with the marketing.
Okay. I'm sure you had more than your share of rejections, ghostings, and that to overcome, right? So,
I still get those all the time. It's just a part of business. And the thing with having a startup is that we're the new people on the block. No one knows us. I mean, they know us at this point. We're several years in, but at the time, we were fighting uphill with some monsters in our industry that had been established for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So it was really difficult in the initial aspect of the marketing, trying to convince these agents that they should give us a shot after they've been working for 20 years with somebody else. Um, Took a lot of convincing. It's worked out fairly well for us. Um, but yeah, it was definitely difficult and a lot of rejection starting off and still some today.
always, always. So I'm curious, I'm building upon that is what is it that separates you from some of those other players? That what makes you different, and that was part of your
Yeah.
messaging with those contacts, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to try to say this without making some people upset. With Dry Ally, we're like you said earlier, we are a customer service business. We are that first and foremost. Secondly to that, we are a restoration company, and we really look at it that way. When I was an insurance adjuster, insurance tries to save money on those claims. It's the way that the industry works. They don't want to pay. If they paid out 100% of every single claim, they'd go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Um, so what we would do is insurance adjusters negotiate with the restoration companies. Hey, we'll pay 70%, we'll pay 80% of what your invoice is. Good luck with the rest. Most restoration companies will go back and say, hey, homeowner, business owner, you signed this contract to work with us. In that contract, it says you have to cover everything outside of what insurance covered. With Dry Ally, we don't do that. We negotiate with the insurance companies, and then it stops right then and there. We don't go at the homeowners. We don't put liens on houses. We don't send them invoices. We don't do anything like that. The only time that we will bill a homeowner or business owner is if insurance is not involved. We have that conversation early on with them to let them know what the range could
Mhm.
look like as far as pricing goes. But we only bill a homeowner or business owner if insurance is not involved. If State Farm or Allstate or Cincinnati Insurance or Liberty Mutual, if any of those insurance carriers are involved, we negotiate prices with those adjusters and it stops right there. I think that's probably the biggest differentiator between us and these other companies. And that's really why a lot of insurance agencies like to use us, is because they know that their customers out of pocket is going to stop at the deductible with us. It's not going to go beyond that. And I think a lot of homeowners and business owners appreciate that. I lost 13 months after my wife and I built our house 7 years ago. We had a basement flood, and the company that we used was a fairly large company in our region, our area. And after insurance paid out, we still had to pay $3,600. And at that time we just had twins, and we had two other
Okay.
older kids. We didn't have the money for that.
Yeah.
We legitimately had to sell toys to pay off, that $3,600. And I made it a point to myself that I'm not going to be that company that does that.
Right. Great examples of kind of also leveraging your past background, your past expertise as an adjuster as well, right?
Yeah.
Really knowing how the industry works. So a few years in now, if you look back, you shared maybe a couple already, but what's been a past challenge that you had to overcome, and what did you learn from that?
Obviously the marketing's is probably one of the biggest challenges I've had to overcome. The other part was really just kind of convincing people to take a chance on Dry Ally and what we were doing. Um, like I said, I with all the friends in the circle that I do have, you think your small business is going to just jump off right off the line and get going. But not that many people have water emergencies. Not that many people have fire emergencies. It doesn't happen very often. Out of 50,000 homes, you might get 20 or 30 a year.
Yeah.
So really the challenge was getting the name out there and getting people to trust Dry Ally. That was by far the biggest challenge that we've had as a business today.
Okay. Okay. So as you look forward, what's a current challenge that you're trying to solve for with you and the team?
That's a great question, and we're currently facing some right now. Even though we're technically 3 years into the business, we're trying to get on these TPAs, which is a third party administrator. So a TPA is a company that will partner with the larger insurance carriers like State Farm, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, and so forth. So if a State Farm claim happens, State Farm will contact one of these third party administrators, and they will automatically assign that job to a contractor that they work with, whether it's Dry Ally or one of our competitors. So we are currently in the process of getting established with a couple of TPAs in the industry. The problem that we're facing now is, these TPAs only allow a certain number of contractors in the region. So even though we qualify for these TPAs, now we have to wait for someone to either fall off, do bad customer service, or just decide they don't want to be a part of it anymore. So we're kind of in this holding pattern that would allow us to substantially grow our business. So right now, that's our biggest challenge that we're facing at the current moment.
So a few years in now, what's your vision longer term? You look 5, 10 years down the road.
Yeah. So short term, in the next 2 years, we are currently expanding into the Dayton, Ohio market, Columbus market, and we're starting to eyeball Indianapolis as well. 5 years down the road, 5 years from now, I hope that we are established in Cleveland, Lexington, Louisville, also, potentially even Fort Wayne, Indiana. So within 5 years, the plan is to, expand into these other markets throughout Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. And then 10 years from now, we do have a franchise model that's more franchise standard, but then we also have a model that's more owner operator profit share that I'm hoping to explore as well. So 5 years from now, I plan for us to be as well established in Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, and then potentially exploring other areas like Pittsburgh and Atlanta and so forth.
Okay. So is that owner operator something that's available now, or is that something that come down the road?
It actually is now. It's available now, and we're starting to explore that in Dayton, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio. So we're just now starting the process of really identifying those two markets, studying them, researching them to figure out what the best route to go is and location wise. But the owner operator model is it's definitely different than what the current industry does on a regular basis. In the restoration industry, it's either corporately owned, or it's just franchise, the standard franchise model where someone pays 130, $150,000 to get in. Um, the owner operator model is slightly different. We're kind of taking a ride on the Chick-fil-A model where the owner operator will be more of a profit share with us. They put up the down payments for the equipment, the truck. We will finance the rest. So we'll finance the bulk of the equipment. And then from there, we'll do a profit share with the owner operator in whatever city it is. Um, the other thing that's slightly different with that model than the standard franchise model is there might be 4 or 5 different franchises in Columbus, Ohio. With Dry Ally, the operator model, they get the entire city. So it's not you only get 10 zip codes or 10 neighborhoods. With us, the owner operators that we're looking for will get access to the entire city, the entire market.
Okay. Intriguing. So again, for our listeners here, there's not only, hey, if you have restoration service needs yourself, you know, obviously a great fit, but also if you're thinking about, starting up that next business, you want to move into more of a business ownership role and take ownership of a market, a good entry point to that. So team, as you've ramped up, tell us what have been your keys to finding, the best talent and retaining and growing the folks that you have.
That's always the hardest part, right? The hardest part's really kind of always finding the people that have the same vision, the same drive. With us, so we kind of do things 2 different ways. We obviously look for people who are talented, men and women who either have the background, have the education, the training. The other thing that we do that's I think unique to us, I don't know for sure. I partner a lot with the local school districts. So the local districts in our area um, would be West Claremont, Forest Hills, Milford school districts. And I'll go in there and I'll talk to the students about business, entrepreneurship. Um, and what we've done is we've partnered with these school districts. We just hired someone who just graduated West Claremont High School 3 months ago, and he is on a 3-year training plan with us. So he gets paid salary, he gets paid full time. The first year, we are teaching him how to be a technician in the restoration industry. He's going to get certified in 2 weeks. He's going to get 3 certifications in 2 weeks. So for the first year, he's really kind of learning the basics of the business, the basics of the job, I guess. Um, and then year two, we're going to go hire another high school, maybe a couple high school people, let him become a team lead and kind of start leading his own team. He'll work with us on that, how to become a leader, how to learn leadership skills. And then year three, he's going to be learning the business. So he'll learn the invoicing. He'll learn how to go make sales. He'll learn how to build the business itself. And then at the end of that, the hope is, hey, what city interests you? Do
Okay.
you want to go to Atlanta? Do you want to go to Nashville? Do you want to go to Indianapolis? Where do you want to go? So we're really kind of developing this plan to take these guys or girls who maybe college isn't the right fit for them, and teach them how to become a leader, teach them how to run a small business, and give them the chance to do that.
Oh, outstanding. That's a tremendous commitment from you to not only make those connections to schools, but also that commitment to training so early on. So,
Well, I think a lot of for a lot of people, it's they look at the trades and they just all they hear is you have to get a degree in this, you have to get a degree in that. But really, the trades is a fantastic life that you can have if you do it right.
yeah.
And so our goal with Dry Ally is to give opportunities like that to young men and women who want to get in the trades. They just don't know how to advance in the trades, and don't really know all the possibilities that you can get from it.
Right. So, BJ, as we get close to the wrap up here, I'm curious. So, if you look back now, what have been your keys to success so far?
Uh, always learning. It's funny is that I've got family on my mom and dad's side who are all entrepreneurs, business owners, and the one thing that they've always kind of resonated when they said when I was younger, even to now, is don't let education get in the way of your learning. And what they meant by that is don't let your education stop with college or high school. Take it upon yourself to actually learn and take it upon yourself to learn new skills. So for me, a lot of it was, picking up books that I'd never read before, listening to podcasts, listening to speakers, going out and networking. The best book I ever read, hands down, was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I was working in the corporate life and just getting drained every single day that I was going to work on Monday and looking forward to Friday. And then Saturday comes and man, I got to go back on Monday again.
Oh yeah.
So,
The Sunday
Rich
night
Dad Poor Dad really,
heebie-jeebies, right?
yeah, yeah. So Rich Dad Poor Dad was kind of the catalyst, really, as far as wanting me to become a self-learner and really doing that. So that's self-learning is by far probably the biggest key for my success, and I think probably for a lot of people too.
Okay. So I'm just great insights. Anything else out now looking back? Hey, I wish I knew then that I know now. I mean, you shared some of the marketing learnings, but anything else?
Yeah. I think I wish I would have known that starting off is a lot harder than what people think.
Okay.
It's just the truth of the beast, really. I think a lot of people have this grandiose idea, and I think a lot of it goes to social media and shows like the Shark Tank and other avenues of entertainment where they see these people living these lives of just fancy cars and fine dining and these big old houses, but they don't show what actually it takes to get to that.
Yeah.
Everyone sees the end product, but they don't see the steps that it takes to get there. And I'll be lying if I said I wasn't the same way starting off. I immediately thought that, man, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna have this house, I'm gonna have this car, I'll have it in 2 years. That it is when you're starting off and when you're building from the ground up, it's nonstop.
Yeah. Hard to see the glory in the grind, right? As you
A
move.
lot of times it is, yes. Yes.
All those calls you were making to
Yeah.
to make those connections and yep.
Oh yeah.
So appreciate that. And yeah, and sure, Rich Dad Poor Dad is kind of a timeless classic. So as
Yeah.
we look to wrap up here, what are the best ways for folks to learn more and stay connected with you and Dry Ally?
Yeah, so I mean with me, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Dry Allies also on Facebook, and it's we also have a Dry Ally page on LinkedIn too. The website for Dry Ally is just dryally.com. That's DRYALLY.com. I'm fairly active on the personal stuff on both Facebook and LinkedIn. But that's probably the best way. Just search my name up and everyone should be able to find it.
Okay. All right. Encourage folks to go check out their services and connect with them online as well. So as we wrap up, BJ, what are you inspired by today?
It's a good question. I'm sure that you've heard this answer a lot. Mine is going to be my kids. Um, we have two adopted daughters. We have three biological children. My wife and I were in foster care for 7 years, and that's where we adopted our two older kids from. So really, my inspiration really does come from my kids in that aspect, and the experience as a foster parent. Um, for those who have done it, they understand. For those who've never done it, it's hard for them to understand. But yeah, my inspiration, my drive, the reason I'm up at 4:30 every morning and I don't miss a breakfast with my kids, I don't miss a dinner with my kids, I don't miss playtime on the weekends, is it is really just because of the experience of being a foster parent, a regular parent, and then kind of knowing what our older two girls kind of came from. So
So that is inspiring. I mean, you've started up a business, you're growing it successfully, five kids, right, already before you started, right? But still being dedicated, making that time to be there, breakfast and dinners.
mhm,
So many either aren't able to make that happen, aren't able to unlock the keys to making sure they can
mhm,
still have that
yeah,
that vital time with family while they're so committed to building the business. So
yeah,
that is inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Mhm. So BJ Drell of Dry Ally, thank you for joining us today, sharing your lessons learned and more about the business.
Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. And to our viewers, we're thrilled to have you join us. Hope you took great notes, some excellent learnings here from BJ. And we appreciate you joining us. And also appreciate you if you could hit the like button. That helps us share the message even more broadly. And as I mentioned before, if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you can receive future inspiring messages like you heard from BJ today. With that, hope you all have a terrific day.
Thank you.